My favorite intro of like any celebrities of a Simpson is insane. Like if you're going to do it funny, do it all the way. Like have them dancing around like fully insane. Whereas like who would actually introduce themselves to actual other people who are in the business and be like, it's like it's this famous singer. It's like oh. Card leaves free. Yes, and then I go to the lucky card. I play a straight and a straight. Oh, I've got the hermit. How does the hermit work? Okay. I need 2,000. What? Are you kidding me? I just got the same cards back. Yep. I also want to do double or nothing. I won the first double or nothing, so I need to do this twice. So I won one and I won two. Oh yeah, good luck with that. Okay. Okay, 3. 3 out of 4. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. Okay, so if I use this, that's 3 out of 3. And I'm going to look at it. Oh! Yeah. Okay, so if you look here, yeah. If you look here, yeah. If you look 1, 2, 3, 17, this would be September. And because I don't know how long it will be for Twitch, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it is gonna be a while for like because there's no holiday that I've got to see in a bit. Also, the other thing which um I said uh I was going to because I was going to like get some medical stuff mostly blood tests because I think something to do with like my ADHD blood tests for I think it's something to do with the tablet that I'm taking. We went back because I couldn't get the amount that I get because the Pacific brand wasn't available. So we need to go to the person, ask if he can put a generic brand, which is probably better in the long run. So I don't need to be like, do you have this one? And it's like, no, we don't have this one, but we have this. And I know it's a little bit off, but that's overall the idea of what we can get. The idea, the other thing that I might do would be the other thing that we asked.
What's real? it's not. Or maybe nothing is. Yeah, that's a weird intro, but I'm going to keep it. Also, yes, we're going to do reviews because I forgot to do one yesterday because it was getting late. And I have a physical human body, and even though I tried to prevent sleep, I surprisingly need it. I know, shocking, I need to sleep. Anyway, this. In the non-spoiler section, I don't have much to talk about besides the things that are similar to the last one. It's fun, it's interesting. I do slightly prefer the last one because the last one had a huge thing, and I love this version because it does change into something new. But the last one had a sort of twist on sort of like, I think, what is it? Cinderella, which I always like when you take like a traditional story and change it. But with this one, I like it not because of that. I do always like that because I always like, here's the story, let's twist it. But I like this for different reasons, and I think it's really fun. But, so yeah, the one thing I like about this is the power of sort of like controlling what the person sort of like sees, which I think is really fun, and like having that be like the villain is a fun idea, which is really cool in the battles and being like, oh, what is true, what is false, you'll never know. I also like the fact because by this point, like, could they do another season? Maybe. Fully maybe. Like, when I had the first one and they ended it there, I'm like, that's a good place to end it, and I thought they were going to stop there, but they didn't. But I do like the fact where they end here, because it's like, well, we would like you to join the war, and she's like, no, I don't, which is like, valid, is like, yeah, I see this pain, and I'm out. I can also see them doing another one because it feels like there's going to be more of this type of stuff, so that sort of stuff might happen. But I do find this interesting and fun. Okay, I do like this and I do find this fun. And overall, this is a good series. So yeah. Here's the next one. We're finally throwing this away. But yeah, the other thing, which is a quick update, is on more of the longer videos, I'm not going to do for the previous weeks because I've been stressing about doing it, because with these new ones, I can do it. So from this point onwards, on the big reviews, on the weeks, there's going to be timestamps. Same with the everything, same with the clips. For the past 2 weeks, I just updated anyway because I think like I could do that easy. But there's a lot of compilations in this, and it hasn't been reset, so I'm not sorry. It's just too confusing, and I don't want to be like. So for the future, that means this month and this entire year aren't going to get one. I don't think the other one's going to get a big one anyway. So yeah, that's going to happen. I don't know why I'm telling you it now, but it's just a little bit of an update while in this review. So yeah.
Yeah, really. Because this probably came out ages ago and it's still 2025, and there's 4 more seasons planned for The Simpsons, which is insane. Yeah, they just did a clip show, which I'm not a fan of. Also, realistically, not for, like, I think even the play game, because it's 18 for this one. And I think this is 23. What the fuck? But yeah, that is one of the things that's going to happen. It's one of the things that's going to come out. So yeah. Also, I just realized, technically, FNAF Ultimate is not going to be on Friday because Friday's Cuphead now. As you can see, you won't tell. This will be way more. So you have this. It might even be changed. I don't know. Because as far as I remember, this one here is coming out sort of on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, August the 6th. So I could maybe have a job. Heaven forbid. But yeah, that's happening. I'm still not doing too well at this, but this is still doing good. I do hope you enjoy and like. Oh, I'm annoyed that. Queen. What? Okay, I've got 2 things. Okay, 3 to 2. I can risk it. I am taking a huge risk. Oh, yeah. Thank you! I'm also taking a risk here, but it's a 50-50 at this point. If anyone can figure out why I'm getting like a bit of static, I think you could probably hear it. I don't know how to fix that. That's a clip. Hi, this is me from April 10th. If anyone has any advice on the if anyone has any like help from April 10th, 2025 to fix the static on any future videos, if you are watching on Twitch, you might see this for a bit until I delete it because of there being a limit. Makes sense. Legitimately makes sense. I also might hit the limit of how many videos you. That's besides the point. If you have any tips on like how to stop the static, you probably won't see this until like November, December for YouTube, and for Twitch, I don't know how long this will be, but this will definitely be in like the sort of like the so I think they're also demonizing that, which nowadays I don't think they do, because iTunes I don't think existed past 2015. Like it exists, but not as like a thing that was used. Like I remember when I was younger, but I'm like, oh, who has an iTunes and an iPod? The iTunes, like who's listening to the latest song on the iPod? Same with the DS. I remember back when that was a thing. Da, 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 da.
Now let's finish this. For now. I don't know if there's another season. Again, season 1, I don't know. But let's do it. So yeah. I don't have much non-spoiler stuff to talk about. There's a lot of like season 2, 3 where I'm like, I can't speak. So this is gonna be like less than like 15 seconds or even less. Actually not 15 seconds, but you get what I mean. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it. So yeah. With this, the thing that I like, which I think is a fun idea, is in, not the last season, but the season before the last, you dealt with this weird, tiny, whiny, where she sort of moved forward, yet there was a scene of her in the past, which is interesting. And I like this being like having humanity, huge spoilers, split up. And I find this interesting. And having multiple people trying to either bring back the other world or see what they could do with the people from the other side, which is fun as an idea. The idea of like two worlds being like these two people on either side of the world were one world, also the Earth is still intact, but they're in two worlds, and then they might come together. Again, this is why I feel like, because the Ions are still here, and maybe that's just a thing that's like, I feel like I'm missing information again, but I do like it. I do find it fun. Overall, again, I shouldn't have reviewed these anyway. I watched these in November and December of last year. Actually more November. Anyway, but I feel like there was a season 1 before it, but I couldn't find it. But there's online sources saying there is. Anyway, this two worlds thing I love, and that's all I'm saying. So yeah, the one thing this is fun. This is over, but it was fun while it lasted. I don't know why I'm saying this. Like, it was fun while it lasted. Oh, it's not about. But anyway, it is insane. So yeah, for something I shouldn't really review, to something that I love talking about. Doctor Who, doo-doo. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night.
The one thing which I love about Stan Lee is, I think if he is correct, obviously there's been some controversial where like there's certain characters that like aren't his. It's, I think, Jack Kirby's characters. But the one thing that he has claimed that like he created Spider-Man, and it was like, oh yeah, why don't we create him a bit more troubled? And like I think he's like, oh wait, a spider, and then like it didn't do as well. It was like, oh yeah, but I don't think it was gonna do as well. So when the Adventure comic series had the final run, and like it was already slated to not have any more comics. Obviously, I'm not an expert. There are tons of people who can like tell you the history of comics better than I can, especially like Panda Red or like other YouTubers and TikTokers like that. And it's like one of those things where it's like he created like this thing where it's like he gave it in, and like a lot of people are like, oh no, this can't do, because like one, I think he's one of the first like. It's been a while for me to do this sort of like bonus one, but because the same thing hits again, I'm doing it again. You have a problem with that? Well, I highly doubt it. Making more content. So, even though YouTube won't see this for a while, because I'm insane. Legitimately. Anyway, let's open Steam and let's do it. Nope, wrong one. That's. Oh, wrong thing to open. Why? I know why I did open that, but I shouldn't have opened that. Not community store. Library. Yeah. Oh, yay! I need healing. Give me healing. Well, I need a knife. Oh, that phone's useful. No, I need healing. I've only got one. 2 to 2. Okay. Okay. Good. Blank. Okay. Okay, it's 3 bullets left. Second bullet is live. So realistically, there's a high likelihood, it is literally just 50-50. Because it'll be blank, live, blank, or live, blank. No. Apparently,
somewhere more private.
apparently it's really useful. very is useful to actually learn about what I'm doing. Also, I also love that you get the audio. Oh, Mars goes up. This is very confusing. And a lot of this, I have no idea what I'm doing. Uh, yeah, I haven't done research for like, how will this be better? Because that's more fun. The bear tag. Wait, where is it? 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 I'd like to point out, most people think gods exist. Gods exist, but I'm pretty sure gods wouldn't come down for like a marriage. Like if that's the case, like people would already know gods exist if that was the case. Just go outside being like, I need to go for a walk, and not whatever the beat that is.
So it's all a big bowl of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, badass, awesome stuff. It's all gods. So yeah, I love this because in the season 1 and the sort of like specials beforehand, there's all been like the odds also just, and it's like the pantheon have come in and it's fun. I'm not gonna say which, but you can kind of sense that there's gonna be some more, and it's really cool. I love it. Obviously, there's some episodes that I prefer, but overall, I think this is just awesome. So yeah. This is gonna be huge spoilers, and I left it here because this is a series I love, and there is one thing from quite a lot of episodes that I absolutely like. So I just wanted to talk about it. So you had the first episode, which is actually the only one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's only 4 per the show, and then there's another 4 more. But the first one I like. Obviously you have, I think, there's another TikToker who said it, which is basically another sort of like in-sound one, which is fair. But the reason why I like it is the idea that the robot is like every 9th word they can't hear. And I was like, clever. I just love that idea that they did. I also like the idea about going back to go forward, which is insane. And the time dilation and the time things, which is really fun to think about. You also have them not going back, and that's being really questionable. And that's the whole season of going to point to point to point, gathering information, besides 1. And then afterwards, after I think episode 6, going back and like seeing what's happened. And then you have Lux, which has another god in it. I love the gods. The gods I think are really interesting as an idea. And I also like the idea that he doesn't like get captured or trapped. You have the well, which is really fun and really interesting with his ideas overall. Alongside this is the episode from the past. It's a sequel, which I think is a fun idea. I wasn't around when the original aired. I just watched out and catch up. Lucky Day I like because again it's another one of these where it's like one of the things that I want more of, which is basically stories about UNIT, stories about just the companions after the Doctor, which is fine. I want more like Sarah Jane, where it's like we're gonna have Doctor Who-ish, but the Doctor's not in it. I mean, you have my favorite, the story and the engine. My favorite. Oh, I just love it. I love the whole like vibe and feeling. Again, I just love it. It's fun. Then you have your Interstellar Star Contest, which I liked. Uh, the person there beforehand, which I don't. I'm bad at names. I am good at getting it up, just so I can say it correctly. Did you? Um, or Theo, put it correctly, where there was a whole problematic message where I was like, fair. But sometimes it's just a weird, fun thing, and I'm fine with that. But I get the messaging was a bit. And the wish world and the reality war is this idea questioning reality and this doubt. It's so weird in this fun, insane thing. But again, all the episodes, besides, I get the problem with Interstellar Song Contest, but I love, like, literally most of it. And yeah, obviously, what do I think about, only having 2 seasons? Yes. Would I want shoot this Doctor, because I'm gonna fail too many times, to have more episodes? Yes. We don't. But would I want to? And who we're getting next? How the that gonna work with Billy Piper? Is it gonna be like the other character? Is it gonna be common? Are we gonna get Bad Wolf? I don't know. I'm excited about that. But yeah. Yeah, and all that said and done, this is really fun. I like that. But I do think this is something to watch. Yeah, I did move location, that's why late here. But I do recommend, and I do think this is so fun to watch. And also, I don't know why I thought of the actual episode that had silence in it in Doctor Who, which is fun, but that's beside the point. Shh. And yeah, Code of Silence is next. I hope you enjoy, and good night.
I think this is free. Okay. I am constantly dying. I don't know why the sound's off. Okay, let me just. Okay, I'm gonna keep it down here. Let me just check audio because audio. I'm confused about you. Is this not plugged in? What's the beef? There we are. Sound, desktop output, audio output, desktop zero speaker, desktop audio. Nope, now I'm definitely dead. Yeah, because even if he shoots me, which is a blank. Oh, I don't know how to read. Names of angels. Okay. I like jumping between one and the other. And if anyone has any suggestion, I'd definitely try some. Oh.
I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
Jesus. Welcome to me having a heart attack. There's a chance that I could die. Old. If you're taking a staircase or ladder to see people in their rooms, what did you want us to expect?
No, I was just talking about the weather. So yeah, you have Code of Silence. I love this. This is cool. This is awesome. This is really fun and really cool. And I know I repeated that twice, but I don't care. Yeah, it's fun. It's innovative. I lost language, which is ironic. I like the idea of a show with someone trying to do sort of like lip reading. I also like the idea of it as Code of Silence, which is a double entendre. Because if you're doing like stuff like with the police, sometimes you have to have a code of silence. And you also have the thieves having this code of silence to try and make them so we don't know that, so people outside don't know they're committing crimes. But I do love this. I do find this really fun. The whole idea I think is really interesting with the deductions. So yeah. The reason why I paused it there instead of having longer is because I'm just going to be it straight here. One of the more important things is things that we're going to talk about, because a lot of it, I know some of it is in the trailers, which is, oh, who's going to be in this? But because I haven't watched the trailers, I'm just going to assume some of this stuff will be spoilers. So she sort of like, the one thing which I like, and it's a small moment, and I just like that idea where, because she accidentally gets an order wrong, which, what I see, that would have happened with anyone. He did not say that specifically. And he's always like keeping an eye. That sort of small, like, even like what she says is like, oh, you could have talked to me about this. It's so poignant. I just like that one scene of like, because I've been rewatching this again, while I've been reviewing a couple of stuff with like my mum, and she pointed out that doing this has this level of like, she believes that she is naive. And most of the time I don't bring that up, but the reason why I bring it up here is because I kind of believe there's sort of like two reasons why. There's sort of like actually not two. One sort of like major reason why she does this. Actually, two. Never mind. I'm gonna say both, and I don't know which one's more important, but you get what I mean. One is the fact that overall, she's having the situation with her house and new tenants kind of pushes her into a situation. She's already doing 2 jobs and she's already not having like enough income. And yes, that does assume that she needs the money for that reason, but the tenants are being corrupt. And I can just point out that it's their kind of fault. The other one is, like I think she says, because of because she is deaf, people look down at her. And I feel like that's one of those things where she doesn't like to be looked down on, because you shouldn't look down at people. No. But that's the thing, that she just has that. And I think that's interesting, that because of those 2 reasons, she's taken this more, not naive, but more calculated risk that I think other people might not. I don't know, it's just something that I think. So yeah, I do think this is really good, and I think this is one thing that I would definitely recommend for you to watch. Absolutely. And now, yeah, we're gonna do a bit of this. Even though technically I think I reviewed some of this. I started watching this because of the new part 2, and I started watching these. So here's the first one of these.
I love that, like, we're still in the point of, like, history where it's like, it's not YouTubers. YouTube doesn't exist at the moment. It's like one of those things like, YouTubers don't exist. And it's like, no, I'm an internet person now. I want to, like, make some animation for, like, an online thing. It was like... I would like to point out, this looks like early YouTube. So this, like, probably is 2010.
Okay. Let me try.
And let's see if this works now. Does it work now? I think that works. That's good. I think I will do the same thing on here. Just to make sure. Yeah, this is it using that one. Okay, so let's go back to here. Go into Steam. Open Blackdraw. Wait. Ready to go. Okay, let's check. Okay, does this work? Okay, that's good. But first, I'm going to go into... Gabriel. Okay. Let me see. Gabriel. Yeah, close enough. I am using angels' names. Okay. 2. 2 to 3. Okay. Okay. Okay, wait. Jesus. Welcome to me having a heart attack. There's a chance that I could die. Old. Oh. Going to the hospital, gee. Why do you want to go to the hospital? It probably means you have something bad. Okay. I kidnapped your cat, and I am not going to jail. I don't know if that's very stereotypically action, where it's like, I am Boostat, and it's like very aggressive and angry. Hello, I am here. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this one, but let's start it anyway. Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna do a unique one. Actually, probably. And yes, I do swallow my gum. It's probably not the best thing, but I do that. But let's. Okay. So let's actually. Why am I opening? I was about to be like open Steam, but I'm not going into Steam because I don't have it through Steam. What an employee. Let's open you. Let's hope this works.
So I've been given a mission. And I'm going to nope. I'm noping it. Goodbye. So yeah, I'm going to quickly get on to this while I just actually I can't do anything with this one. This is a re-record because after I uploaded it, turns out TikTok decided to, of its own record, add a sound of Disney. And even though I like Disney, I watch way too much of Disney, I'm going to be completely honest. The last couple of reviews, a lot of them are Disney. I'm going to fully acknowledge that. No, thank you. Because it makes it a bit annoying. Anyway, I'm going to leave the updates till the end. There is a couple of updates, but on this, I like it. It is fun. It is really interesting. And I do think this, as an entry film, introducing the characters, the world, is really interesting. So yeah. So I'm going to give this a bit more, because I realised I have more to say. So that's useful. Yay! But this time I'm going to remember not to add the sounds. Also good. First, his entire team dies. Yeah, I should have said spoilers, but spoilers! What? He has a team, he gets it all together. I should have realised that, because like, you get 20 minutes into the film, it's like, well, we have this mission, we're doing this, we're doing that. Then we're going to do this. And it's like, excuse me, what? And I find it fun. I also should have realised, even though I thought it was in a later movie, that I heard there was things about like Mission Impossible being really interesting about having the mentor be the one that betrays him. But in my opinion, I thought that happened in the later film, not in the first one. Because the person who mentored him, set the group up, betrayed him. Debatably, I am stupid. I also like... Sorry about that, I'm not even going to carry on. I also like the idea of there's certain things, because I watched... There is another thing, because I said there was only one scene that I watched, which is this scene, which for emphasis, I am going to talk about that scene. But give me a sec. But there is another scene, which I do also talk about, and I have watched, which is basically him doing the whole disappearing, because I watched a couple of magicians and card people look at films and be like, oh, he did this or he did that, and they talked about Tom Cruise actually doing that, which is clever. And with this scene here, the one that's in this shot here, I like it, one, because it's the most interesting shot that they could have done, and two, the idea in the whole thing that in some movies they would have this or like eerie music. I'm not a music person, you can clearly tell. But in this, tension happens as silent. And that silence in it is so good. Because because if I do, it's not going to be perfect because I'm on TikTok and I don't have the sound on perfectness. But you get my point. It is still sort of like a vibe thing. There's still going to just be a bit of a muffling sound. I don't know if that's my iPad or TikTok wasn't designed to be perfectly silent, which is fair. But it is not perfect silent, but you get my point. Again, I don't know why I'm saying this, but you get my point with the silence. It's really interesting, and I think it's a really fun idea. So, conclusion. I love this, and I think it's really good, and I think you should watch it. Additionally, this is where it gets a bit longer, because originally that was where the conclusion would have began, and it would have been 4:13 when it would have continued the conclusion, which we've just passed. Anyway, the things that I want to update is, one, I'm going to sometimes watch stuff with my mum, meaning after 10 reviews, if I don't have anything to add there, I just add my back catalogue, meaning I'll keep 10 reviews, and 10 reviews that I've watched within the last couple of things, meaning Mission Impossible does not count. Reading, we'll get to that. You talk about reading, but now you're surprised. We'll be on that, but we'll talk about the reading part later. But if I get to 10 and I watch a cinema film with my mum or my dad or Avengers of the Simpsons, which is another thing, or I watched Dune, which is on Netflix, and I didn't do it in the right way, but never mind. If I do all of that, I'll just be at it. And every 4, so that every 5, meaning Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, 4, I will keep those brackets separate and put the next one below it. It means I still get to talk about a couple of other stuff rather than some stuff that my family assures. I also might do repeats, because I will later talk about Mission Impossible 3. And I'm going to be completely honest, I have talked about that ages ago. But because, one, I want to re-talk about it, some I might not, because recently I'm watching Code of Silence. I just reviewed Code of Silence. I did talk about I was watching Code of Silence, so I'm not going to re-review Code of Silence if it's being that quick, because that's ridiculous. But I am going to re-review Mission Impossible 3, because it's been a while. Also, there's a whole theme with this. So yeah. Also, I have watched up to, I think, just before Dead Reckoning Part 1, and we did that because me and Mum originally, one Monday, planned to see the film. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to book it. And I think that was the first day that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2 was in cinemas. Which one, we were planning for this for a couple of days before then, and I should have told her booking last minute. Wasn't exactly a good idea. But I didn't. So who's the idiot? I don't know. Mostly me, because I should have said we should have probably booked beforehand. But neither of us did, so. And lastly, this means that you're going to get a couple of these, and there is a couple of other stuff, like after Code of Silence, we're going to watch Mobland. But again, that's not for now, that's just an update which could be important in the future. So yeah. Ta-da! This is what I meant by reading. So yeah. This is going to be a start of me talking about books I have read. you also might have realised I kind of did talk about Moriarty before when I did the clips. When I did making, and I talked about clips sometimes, and then I introduced it with Moriarty, etc, etc, etc. So there are a couple of clips of me talking about it for a minute. But I want to do it more! So because it's that, and alongside, I want to promote myself reading a bit more, not as much as watching TV. I love watching TV, and that will never go. So I am going to, like, add our reading. If you're on TikTok, this would be new, besides this video. If you're on YouTube, which I don't know how many people are on TikTok compared to YouTube, besides the point, you might have already seen this, because on my YouTube page, go to my YouTube page if you want to, you would have seen that Moriarty the Patriot has been on there for a while, alongside a couple other things that I'm going to review. So obviously, that was already a thing going into it. This is going to be not as big, mostly under 3 minutes, I think. Because, again, I mostly talked about the things I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I just wanted to make this into its own video. And there's going to be a couple other things. One of the things I bought recently was the FNAF books. And I want to talk about them. I haven't got all of them, so I need to get all of them. But I am going to go through them alongside some books from... at my thumb. Sorry, I got my thumb. Some books from Goosebumps. But there's a couple more books that are coming first, doing that. So yeah, that's what's going to happen in the next couple of days. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy this long video. If you look there, actually no, you can't see this. I'm just putting my hand over the clock. That's only I can see. Yay, idiocy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like this video. This is just explaining what's going to happen alongside an update alongside a Mission Impossible review. It's almost like this is a stupid idea. Me doing it this way, and I should have done an update by itself. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night.
Like, because nowadays YouTube's like, yeah, you can, like, make money through this thing. And then it's like... but, like, overall... It's one of those things where it's like... You suck, Angry Dad. Let's do it. Okay. Wait. Good. But first, I'm going to go into custom deck because I want to use some of these fun cards. Nah. I want to use... The other ones I do know what I want to use. I'm going to use Slay the Princess for spades. I don't want to use that. Where's the fun one? I did it. No. Oh, I'll use that one. What? Shoot you. I mean, there could be a blank. Take a blank. Okay. Okay, so 2 blanks, so there's 1. Same thing. Never mind! You can't do anything! Also, you just took back the damage I literally gave you, so that's annoying. Well, you can't damage me because the next one's a blank. Not even you know that. Okay. I kind of... No! No! You have too many teeth! Go away! I don't want to see your teeth. I want to see your teeth. Go away! What's this? Chaos free. Yeah, you get to deal with hell. That's one thing I find interesting about who's in Ladies' Night. Oh, the first time I had Lisa lies to be popular, and it's for a natural reason. And I was like, oh yes, so I can make myself look smarter. Actually, yeah, probably there's a bunch of episodes where Lisa lied to be popular. I feel like that's the most stereotypical thing. Also, this is a very weird episode. And I was like, oh yeah, we're college student. Because I looked at them like, oh. I was like, oh, there's probably going to be an episode where Lisa makes friends her own age. I don't know if that's because, like, The Simpsons is weird. Because at one point, if someone just looks raggedy and just has dehydration, they look 80. The show's done weirdly like that, and I like it. The one thing I also like is, if you look at Lisa's, or Bart's head... the Ninth Circle Studios. I wanted to do this because I found this and this looks fun. Ah. Okay, so let me just first get into sound. Ah. Okay. What? Okay. I'm also gonna just double check. I don't think you can hear it, but I'm just going to close the door just in case. But this is the new one that I'm going to do, because, again, it's not because I'm losing at Play Game, that I'm not going to lie, does not help, but I don't know where to go and how to improve it. So, because of that, and because I want to, like, move at least a little bit forward, I'm going to,
So yeah, books. Let's do this. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this mostly because, actually, I have no reason. I want to promote myself reading more, even though this hasn't worked. I will start doing this. There's a lot of things are happening. I think I've mentioned before. Move. It was on my screen. Which I don't know on YouTube, it won't show. It's still on Twitch. But because of all that, I haven't been reading at all. But let's go to this. I like this, and the introduction of the sort of like Moriartys. Obviously, I've talked about this before. It's fun. It's interesting, and I love the story. It's just one of the things that I find really interesting. So yeah, there is one thing that I want to talk about, but I don't know if it's in the first one or the second one. And because I'm kind of an idiot, I don't want to say it, and I might bring it up in the second one, even if it's in the first one. Okay? Sorry about that. I'm bad at remembering shit. But, more importantly, one of the things I like is the fire. So, for retrospect, I watched the series first, then the show. because I saw something Moriarty the Patriot, and because I'm a fan of Sherlock, I watched it. But when I reviewed the series, someone said, watch the books. Not watch, read the books. Great. This is why I clearly need to script these things. Just read the books, right? Or like the manga. And I was like, okay. And two of the reasons why I watched it isn't in here. Those two come up later, which I am going to say now, so I can get you excited. It's basically, someone said, Moneypenny, which is a James Bond character, that's sort of like in the sort of like, that's James Bond has a thing in there, and Moneypenny, which is a James Bond character, is in Moriarty the Patriot books more, which she does not exist in the anime, which I'm a little bit annoyed. It does also mean that you can't do another season, because I think the second thing has a couple of scenes with Moneypenny, unless they say like, oh, here's our new character, which you could do, but I think it would be very not great. But that's beside the point. I liked where it ended, and I don't think it needed to continue. This does continue after the anime ends, but that's beside the point. The other one is Billy the Kid, because I heard Billy the Kid, and it sounds cool. That's beside the point. One of the things that happens is when in like the anime, you have the sort of like the little, you have this adult, you have this like kid who's like little bit like corrupt because of his position, and he does the whole thing, the house burns, him inside, and I find it really interesting because of that. But in the book, it's both him and his mum, who also has motivation to do this, who do this, which I think is interesting. It doesn't change too much, they also die, and everything still happens in the way that it does. But I do find it interesting that that's small different change. So yeah. Again, this isn't really big, major stuff. It's just stuff that I feel like I wanted to say. And because I'm starting to do this, and maybe it'll be a bit better for the second one, I'm doing it. So, it's fun, it's interesting. So yeah. And now more Marvel. Yeah, that's really been a while since I've done another one of these. But yeah, we're doing this. So I hope you enjoy, and good night.
Jeez. Okay, now that's just a mute. I know that became like more of a problem in like 2000. Whereas like that became more of a problem later on with Gary Oldman. Win a run. Okay, win a run in Red Dead. That's why I'm on Red Dead, because I want to win a run. Okay. I forgot I could skip a blind. Okay. Okay, let's do that one. Again, I love the cards. I just need one more. Free to free. It's 50-50. That's morbid. Jesus. I love how, like, the power of alcoholism, because that's a good message. Jesus beeping hell. It's like, yeah, what we want to promote to people nowadays is that alcohol solves your problem. What the That's not how that works. Please, let's not promote getting drunk as a solution in any way. Free and free, 50-50. Okay, so. Okay, so some of this makes sense. That makes sense, and that makes sense. But why isn't any version of the puppet? Or wait, no, this came out before. There's nothing to do with it personally, but it's like really interesting. Like I don't think anyone, because I just realized after the custom like came out, was this the one that like said? No, wait, it was the FNAF FNAF Pizzeria simulator and that sort of stuff, where it came out with Emily, and I think that came out after this. Not Emily, Charlie. So it makes sense. No, it doesn't actually, because Lefty's in this, and Lefty was way before. Yeah, I look at Bart's head, and I think everyone's made a point where, like, Bart's head is just one thing that I don't get. It's like, if you look at that, it's just like, it's like, where's the hair? Like, there's a couple of things that, like, I like. Like, also, how does Marge's hair work? Period. I don't know. I know later on it shows it's, like, just one big hair. Because when she goes grey, it's like, ah, yes, if I opened it up... Actually, no, I think that happens all the part. But if it's like, ah, yes, I opened it up and it's grey. But it's one giant tower, which is like, what the... Some people have said, like, it's just a giant skull underneath her, which looks funny. How long I'm going to be able to... Okay. Okay, this is actually interesting. Hey, okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Wasn't sure if if I should have waked you. Now I was having a good nap. Could you have not? I want to actually go to sleep. But you don't want to miss the bus, do you? I was having a bad dream. I'm assuming I was. Couldn't imagine why you were dozing off in such a restful place. You're okay? You're looking a little pale. I'm tired. Wait, what's this? Yeah, guess you... Or... Also, I'm going to double check that this is working. Oh yeah, it's working. So I'm fine.
So yeah. More Netflix Marvel. Yeah, and I know it technically shouldn't be called Netflix Marvel because it's not on Netflix, but... So yeah. With this, I like this because I like the idea of showing... Because this is going to be complicated because there's a couple of things that I would like to talk about, but because of the current state of affairs... Thank you, some people who I don't want to mention because it... Well, Trump. So, one. What is June? Pride Month. End of discussion. There's also Men's Mental Health Month, but you can have both. Pride is a thing that you need to take in consideration, and a lot of people are affected by Pride. And it is an important thing that is part of someone's history. All of it is important. I would also argue that mental health, period, is important, but I don't think people in the LGBT community are going to find it insulting if I say that mental health is important. Pride is also important, and mental health. There's just a lot of people who celebrate Pride for a good reason. Besides the point, one of the things which I like about this show, which is why I needed to mention that, is showing sort of like certain people who are sort of like have their own troubles and their own sort of like revenge, and it shows sort of like some people who are ex-military, hence why I brought that up at the beginning, and how they could fall through that. That is one of the things that I needed to bring up, because at the current point, they're trying to replace Pride Month with either, I think, Title IX Month, which is, I feel like it's going to get worse. Great. But it is a thing that I need to mention, because this show, I think, shows how sort of like that could affect you, and working in as a soldier could affect you moving forwards. And I think that's really interesting. But again, I would like to emphasize Pride's still a thing. I feel like that's important to mention. Not because I'm like being like, because one, the one thing which I find out interesting, the person who plays this character actually is an ally, which is the most funnest thing ever when you see someone who plays him and they're against that. A couple of people who use Punisher as bad faith. Other people can explain it better, but I just find that interesting. Again, I just wanted to explain why I wanted to talk about it. So yeah. Sorry for going on the rant. It's for two reasons. One, I want to acknowledge Pride exists. Pride Month exists. Go and follow it. And talk about how I'm annoyed with that. Even though I'm UK, I'm admitting I'm UK, and legitimately my votes mean nothing. It is something that I'm just frustrated with watching it on TikTok, so sorry about that. Anyway, spoilers. The one thing which I like is the sort of mistrust, and because I also like the fact that you have one person who seemingly looks like he's going to be built up and then dies, which is fun. The idea was like, no. But I do think it's cool. I do think it's really exciting in that way. But it is one of those things that makes it interesting because of that. But overall, I would recommend, actually, I'll leave that for that. The other one is, one of the things I like between the sort of like protagonist and the antagonist. They have this connection and it slowly sort of pushes it, which is interesting. And it's all about like this one secret, which is so fun to think about. But yeah. So yeah. I'm excited, and I think The Punisher season 2 might be in a way, but the one reason why I'm excited about watching The Punisher is, if I'm correct, The Punisher was in the Daredevil series. I talked about that. And I haven't talked too much about the behind the scenes, because I think better people do that, but the reason why I'm excited to watch this and this second season is because that it has this connection with, there's supposedly a Punisher special. And even though I'm admitting that going into a place out of vengeance isn't the most moral thing. Shocking news, going in shooting people with no explanation isn't moral. You're just murdering people. I think they might do that style, which I think is interesting as a character point. Because I think that idea of questioning why revenge is so important is interesting. Because do I think it's moral? No. Do I get it? Yes. But yeah, I do think it's really interesting because of that. So yeah, another short one tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night.